Yeah, well, thanks, guys. We've just been discussing the ramifications of everything. A really huge loss here to finish the series on a pretty sour note for England. David, we were listening to you talking to Chris Silverwood and Joe Root. I'm just interested, what did you make of the talk of long-term, short-term, learning on the job, COVID? Does any of that stand up for you?
Well, yes, COVID does stand up. But underneath it all, you have to accept, and I think we understand very easily, that neither Joe Root nor Chris Silverwood are going to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under these circumstances. You know, both are under pressure for different reasons. I think Joe has handled it very well. He's kept a smile on his face. When you see him run out to bat today, you can see there is a man who wants to do his best to finish on a high note, but he has not been supported. Silverwood's role is a different one, because he is now, of course, fully implicated in selection. And selection has been one of the huge talking points on this tour, right from Brisbane onwards. And, you know, the guys in the studio quite rightly refer back to that, because there were jaws dropping, both at home and in Brisbane, when the team was announced and when events unfolded. So there are mistakes that have been going on for quite some time. The point I was asking both of them, which is about the ECB and the attitude from on high, above both of them, to Test cricket. Well, finally someone's admitted, Tom Harrison has admitted, they need to, quote, reset the red ball game. It's been horribly obvious to people watching from a distance that Owen Morgan has everything he wants with the white ball team. And yes, fantastic, we won a World Cup for the first time in 8,000 years of trying, which is lovely. And everyone loved that moment at Lord's 2 years ago. But poor old Joe Root, and I do have genuine sympathy for him, finds himself with people who aren't available, because where are they? They're in the IPL. What good is that to English Test cricket? This is the oldest, most important form of the game. We need to defend it. We need an England team that plays it well, that is not languishing at the foot. It's barely even at the foot of the World Test Championship. I know it's very early in the cycle. These things really annoy people, and apparently it's really annoying me at the moment.
I can tell. Is this something maybe then, this finish, almost what's needed?
Well, you need a big kick-up somewhere. But when you're going to try and be constructive, you look at personnel for sure, so there will be people fearing for their position in the side. But then you also have to consider who else is there to take over. If you're looking for opening batsmen, where are they? There are young players. I mean, I'm not going to go through a list of young players who are averaging, say, 40 in county cricket, because county cricket itself is not the be-all and end-all. But there are players out there who would hope that they might get a go as a result of other people's failures. But they've got to show character. They've got to come into a game. And they won't be tested in the same way, for instance, in the Caribbean in a month and a half's time as they would have been here by a magnificent Australian bowling attack. But they will be playing Test cricket potentially. They'll need to try and make a mark. And someone somewhere has to do a sort of, I mean, the best example in the last 15, 20 years was Marcus Trescothick, who turned out to be a fantastic player for England. The coach, Duncan Fletcher, took a bit of a punt when they picked him, but he picked him because he could see something there. And so Silverwood has now put himself in this position, or Ashley Giles has put him in the position where instead of having a head selector who I thought actually was probably too clever for his own good, actually, to be honest. Ed Smith, he was left field, he did things his own way, but he was an independent voice picking a team. And I think that is the best way to have it. I really don't think it works to have a coach who has to pick a team, coach a team, advise the captain, talk to people who are down, pick them all up again. Because when it comes home to roost, you're the man now in charge of selection of a side that has lost 4-0.